Oh dear Lord. It is hot as balls. Actually, how hot is it? So, I don't know if the KTM can actually show you. Where's the outer temperature? 32.5 degrees. And that's judging from KTM's predictions, which is always off by about 10 degrees. Probably because they're Austrian. I don't know. Not as efficient as the Germans. Needless to say, I am rather moist at this present moment in time. And let's just get this out of the way before I really kick off this video. Yes, to all of the gear police out there, I am not wearing a jacket today. I'm being very irresponsible. Do not do this at home, boys and girls. But I'm doing it today just because I was like, you know what? I'm in Spain. I'm going to join the culture. Well, you know, I haven't completely joined the culture because you know that they all like riding Vespers in shorts and bloody flip-flops. But that's not me. That's not me. I'm definitely not riding a Vespa. Seriously, wearing shorts and flip-flops. I'll do many things on a motorbike, some irresponsibly, but wearing flip-flops is definitely not one of those things. I don't know how you shift gear, specifically on a bike like a KTM RC8 that has such a hard gearbox. You're literally going to break a toe every time you want to go from first to second. So, am I selling the KTM RC8, the beloved orange? I'm actually thinking about it, yeah, and I'm going to go into the reasons why in this video. Stay tuned! I have the attention span of a goldfish, and when it comes to motorbikes, when I get used to a bike, my eyes start wandering. I'm like the guy that as soon as you get a girlfriend, you know, the girl that you really wanted, the one that you were, you know, lusting over for such a long time. This bloody Kia woman, just piss off, let me overtake you, Christ. There you go, you just bitched out on the corner, didn't you? That's a dude on a high-vis. You never see that in Spain. It's a guy wearing a high-vis with the polite sticker, but he's wearing flip-flops kind of thing, you know? So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like the guy that, you know, you get into a relationship, you're like, oh, it's the girl I've always wanted. It's the girl of my dreams. And then after 4 months, it's like, ooh, another girl, another girl, another girl. Thankfully, I'm not actually like that with women. Otherwise, I probably would have lost several balls by now. One, if not both of them, because Gabby would have literally castrated me. I love her. But with motorbikes, I think that's what I am. I think that's my problem. I'm like an addict that when I get too used to a certain hit, I have to try something stronger and something more loud and probably more expensive. And you know, the problem is that right now, you can't really get much louder or obnoxious or crazy or loony. Those are the kind of criteria I look for when I'm purchasing a motorcycle. You can't get much kind of moronic in a wonderful way than on an RC8. There's usually police here like literally hiding in the bushes here in between the two roads. They disguise themselves as a olive tree or something. See flashing olives. Oh, hello bro. You're going over the speed limit, my friend, on your ER6 or XJ6 or something with a 6 in it. I know that's for sure. FZ6, XJ6 or ER6. One of those three. That's not a nice bus stop, I'll tell you that. It's another dude on a high-vis. What the hell is going on? Is he wearing flip-flops? No, he's not wearing flip-flops. Damn it, bro. I'm always on the hunt for new bikes. I'm always looking around, always trying to get a good deal on something. And I was browsing the old internet the other day and I came across a article by, I think it was Visor Down or MCN, I think it was, who were talking about this prototype Ducati Streetfighter V4 or Ducati V4 Streetfighter, however you want to play it. It was being tested on a circuit. Instantly I was just like, oh my god, that looks amazing. Can someone explain to me what the actual point of this is, mate? Can someone explain to me what the actual point of this is? He's literally been like this for like the last 2 minutes, just trying to edge round the other truck. He was like, oh, gentle incline, now's my time to shine. Now I'll get him. Screw the downhill part. No. Well, I might have more acceleration. No, screw that. I'm going on the gentle incline where I slow down. Oh, Jesus, it's actually heinously hot right now. So much so that actually the bike is actually acting super weird. It's not shifting very well. It's kind of surging a little bit. It's because when it's like mega hot, there's way less oxygen in the air than when it's cooler. So bikes run a bit a bit funnier. Usually the ECU adapts a bit, but I'm not sure if it's able to do it kind of quite as dramatically. I don't know. Well, I can tell you something, my knee is going to get a tan, that's for sure. That wasn't by having a crash, that was the style choice, I would say, by Zara man. Check out these mountains though, it's so sick. You can go all the way to the top of them, not on bikes, but you can walk up that one or take a bicycle up or something like that. I'm not sure about the big nipple peak over there. That one, yes, it's not exactly something on my list, but it's quite cool. You can actually do that. So I saw the V4, and then later on in the week, Ducati actually announced the fact that they were going to be running a V4 Streetfighter for the Pikes Peak competition on the 30th of June, which is going to be awesome. And a lot of the manufacturers, they do naked bikes for that because it's quite a twisty course. I think they want more low-end torque and things like that than a super sport bike or than a race bike where it's all about top-end speed and stuff. KTM, for instance, they're rocking the Super Duke there, of course. And there are all these other manufacturers there too, Yamaha, MT10s, that kind of thing. I was absolutely blown away by the look of this bike, and honestly, that was kind of like what I'm looking for. If I was going to replace the RC8, it would be something Italian, something exotic, and naked. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this bike. It is fantastic. It's such a great thing to have, and I'm so lucky to own one because they're quite rare. But the V4 Streetfighter, it's a Panigale V4 that's been tuned for the road, which means you have less horsepower, but you have probably more torque. That just sounds like one of the perfect motorbikes because, wow, that thing was like shedding salt or something, and my whole skin just got shotgunned by salt. My god. Oh shit, I'm actually getting a little bit sunburned. Forget road rash, everybody. It's all about the actual literal sunburn. Just take it all in, eh? I know I'm moaning about the heat, but fuck me dead. It is hot shit. But I mean, look at it. Isn't it such a beautiful piece of machinery, this bike? All good. Don't worry, mate. Isn't it such... No one stops here, by the way, to ask if you're okay. Everyone just assumes you're fine. It's actually hilarious. Anyway. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. So nothing's really turned my head other than the V4 Streetfighter. There's been some specifications that have been speculated. I think they're pretty on point. I mean, MCN basically say that the V4 Streetfighter is going to have about 185 brake horsepower, which is a hell of a lot, but makes sense considering it's an 1100cc V4 engine, similarly to the one on the Panigale V4. The Panigale V4 has like 211 horsepower, so 185 makes sense. But what that does mean is that because it has slightly less horsepower, they can tune it for more bottom end and mid-range. So for those of you who don't really know the difference, horsepower is how fast you hit the wall. Essentially, it's top speed. Torque is after you hit the wall, how far you take it with you. You know, I always bang on about torque on this channel, but torque is the more manly statistic, you know? And a lot of people say to me, oh, I can't ride this bike, it has a lot of horsepower. For instance, talking about a Yamaha R6 as like a first or second motorbike. Actually, Yamaha 6 is probably a very good first or second motorbike because it has quite a lot of horsepower, 115 horsepower or so. But to get all of those numbers, you have to be hanging on to the throttle for such a long time, and it has to be right up in the rev range, and it doesn't really have that much power. So for a young noob kind of learner rider, something that has more torque is probably more dangerous than something that has more horsepower, because you don't have as much time to correct yourself. For instance, like if you're on a big V-twin or a parallel twin, you know, even MT-07 has less horsepower, but it has more torque than an R6, so you have less time to correct yourself on the MT-07 if you like brap the throttle, because that thing will wheelie, whereas an R6 probably won't. I really love the feeling of acceleration, and I've been riding for quite a while now. So for Streetfighter, they're claiming 90 foot-pounds of torque. That's an insane amount of power. This has 88, so it has 2 foot-pounds of torque more than the RC8, and then it has probably about 30 horsepower more as well, because this thing only has 100. Dude, shirtless, what up? No homo, but yeah, looking good. I'd ride shirtless if I could, but I don't think anyone wants to see that. 30 horsepower more than this bike as well, which just means that it's just going to be, it's going to be a mental bike to ride. I was actually thinking about a Tuono as well. Like, okay, well, why would you get the V4 Streetfighter over the Tuono 1100 V4? They have similar kind of engines, probably make similar kinds of power. Personally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of the looks of the Tuono. I know a lot of people really love it. I personally don't. It's not like my kind of bike. Whereas the Streetfighter, it looks very similar to the Panigale. It has the similar lights as the Panigale on the front. It has very similar rear end. It just looks like a naked Panigale, and everyone knows that the Panigales are literally the best looking bikes on the face of the earth. So like, why wouldn't you want a naked, street tuned, more torque, naked version of the Panigale V4? That for me sounds like the perfect motorcycle, you know. And Ducati have a lot of history. It's gonna beep here. Ducati have a lot of history with making really good naked bikes. You know, besides the monsters, we ignore those for the minute. They're fairly tame. The original Streetfighter won, you know, best bike of the year. They won the Pikes Peak. They know what they're doing when they're making a naked bike. Cost-wise, it's going to be expensive. I reckon it's going to be about the £15,000 mark, which means for me here in Spain, it's going to be about 17,000 euros for the base model. If they do make two, I don't know if they're going to make an S and a base model. Probably will. Something like that I would want to buy. You know, essentially you're getting a tuned naked V4 Panigale for, you know, £10,000 ish off the price. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Just noticed I think my right fork is leaking. Yep. Oh, that's a pain in the ballsack. Well, that's the first problem I've had on this bike. I've only done about 1,000 miles on it. You can see the line here. Those have to be refreshed. Oh Manischewitz, that's pretty bad. Where is that coming from? Oh, it's pretty bad around the inner side of it. God damn it.